Jesus healed many people during his lifetime. Some of them were sick, but others were paralyzed or blind like the men in today's story. Some people thought that sickness or physical disability was a punishment from God, but Jesus did not think so. Jesus was merciful while others avoided those they thought were sinners. So one day, Jesus and his disciples saw a man who had been blind since he was born. This means that this man has never seen his parents or looked at the sky, trees, or birds. He did not even know what his own face looked like. But maybe that's a good thing. Just kidding. But before we go on, one thing to know is that a long time ago, so during Jesus' time, many people thought that if someone had an illness, disease, or have something bad happen to them, they thought that it was all because they or their parents had committed a terrible sin. But that is not true at all. And Jesus wanted everyone to know that this man's blindness was not the result of his parents' sin or his sin. Jesus said this man was born blind so God might do something amazing in him and through his life. So, to show what Jesus meant, Jesus got closer to the blind man. He right away got down on his knee and spit to the ground to make some mud. Then Jesus put the mud on the blind man's eyes. Yes, I know that kind of sounds gross, but let's hear the rest of the story. So after Jesus put the mud on the man's eyes, he told the man to go down to the pool of Siloam and wash it off. I'm pretty sure that this guy was very confused at first, but he has nothing to lose, so the blind man went straight to the pool. Right then, when the man did what Jesus told him to do, by washing off the mud, he could now see. He saw all the beautiful colors God made. He saw people's faces he'd never seen before. It was just a miracle. But here, do you guys think that it was the mud that healed the blind man? No, it wasn't the mud. It was Jesus. Jesus showed God's power by healing the blind man. When the neighbors saw the blind man, they asked if he was the same blind man they'd seen begging on the street all the time. Some people thought he was, but others didn't believe it. He looked like the same man, but there was one thing that was very different, and that was he could now see. The man told his neighbors that he used to be the blind beggar. However, the neighbors could not believe him and kept asking him, "What happened? Who healed you?" He told them how Jesus had put mud on his eyes, and when he washed it off, he could see now. They all asked where this Jesus was, but nobody knew where he was. Now, you would think that everyone would think that it was a wonderful thing that the blind man could see now. But there was one group of people who were not very happy, and it was the Pharisees. Do you guys know why? Well, it was because Jesus healed the blind man on the Sabbath, which was on a Sunday. The Pharisees thought that it was a sin to do anything on the Sabbath, even if it was to help someone in need. Well, we've already seen so many examples of the Pharisees being all cranky and being all proud with their tiny little faith. And so we know here that they were more concerned with keeping their religious laws than with helping people. Since the law said to rest on Sabbath, the Pharisees are saying that Jesus broke the law. Look at them being so self-centered and speaking as if they were so perfect with a big heart. So, to investigate what happened to the blind man, the Pharisees asked the blind man so many questions. When the Pharisees asked the man how he had been healed, the blind man told them that Jesus had healed him. They even brought the blind man's parents to the investigation and asked them, "Is this your son? Was he born blind? How does he see now?" The blind man's parents were asked all of a sudden, with so many people around them that they got scared. But they replied, "This is my son, and yes, he was born blind. However, we do not know how he sees now or who opened his eyes. Ask him. Our son is old enough to answer and speak for himself." The Pharisees asked the men again, "What happened to you? What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" Here we go again with so many questions. The man answered them, "I have told you already, and you would not listen. Why do you ask again?" Now the Pharisees became angry and said to the men, "God should get the glory for this, not him. Jesus is a sinner. Who does he think that he has the power to heal someone on a Sunday? He needs to be punished." The men replied, "I don't know whether he is a sinner or not, but I do know one thing. I was blind, but now I can see." So after a long time of being asked questions, when the men came back to the street, Jesus found him. Jesus asked him, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" The man replied, "Who is he, sir? Tell me so I can believe in him." Jesus told him, "You have seen him, and he is talking with you right now." The man immediately yelled out, "Lord, I believe." Wow, this man no longer has to live blind, but can now live freely, telling other people about this wonderful miracle. You see, I don't know what problems you guys might be facing in your lives today, but God knows. And if Jesus can heal a blind man with a little bit of mud, he can help you with anything you might be facing. God still shows his power today. We can see it in so many ways, like when he heals someone, or when he answers prayers, or even in the way he made us. So I just want you guys to know with this one thing, how God is so powerful.
Stories of the Bible. Jesus heals a man born blind. This is Jesus,
Heyo!
who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love. He did many miracles and healed people of their sickness.
Oh, hey everyone!
One day, Jesus was walking with his disciples and he saw a man who was born blind.
Hey, Jesus!
His disciples wondered whose fault it was that this man was blind. Jesus told them it was not because anyone sinned, but rather it was because the power of God could be shown through this man's life. Then Jesus spit on the ground and made mud. He spread the mud over the blind man's eyes and told him, "Go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam." So the man went and did as Jesus said, and he could see.
Wow!
The man's neighbors and others who knew him as the blind man wondered if this was the same man.
Is that the same guy? No way.
They said, "No, he just looks like him."
It's right. No, it can't be.
But the blind man kept saying, "Yes, it's me." So the people asked, "Who healed you? What happened?" And the man told them all that Jesus had done for him.
Ew, that's what happened.
The people asked, "Where is Jesus now?" But the man didn't know.
Come on, you.
So the people took the man to the Pharisees because it was the Sabbath, the day of rest, and they thought Jesus shouldn't have made mud and healed the man on the Sabbath. The Pharisees asked the man so many questions,
What's going on?
and he answered them. I was blind, but now I can see." The Pharisees kept asking more questions. They even brought the man's parents in to ask them questions, but they wouldn't answer because they were afraid of the Pharisees. Finally, the man had enough and yelled,
Listen!
"Look, I told you once. Why do you want to hear it again? If this man were not from God, he couldn't have made me see."
Don't come back.
The Pharisees were so mad at the man for saying this that they threw him out of the synagogue. Jesus heard what happened,
Oh, hey there.
and he found the man and asked him, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" The man answered, "Who is he, sir? I want to believe in him." "You have seen him," Jesus said, "and he is speaking to you."
Wow!
"Yes, Lord, I believe." And he worshiped Jesus.